Well, taking the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap this week is a track spotlight opportunity for us. The newest member of the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts NASCAR Weekly Racing Series is Jennerstown Speedway, with a rich heritage there in Pennsylvania. And their general manager, Billy Hribar, joins us now. And Bill, welcome to the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series family. Got to be excited about adding that to the resurgence of Jennerstown Speedway.
We really are, Jack. Thanks for having me. And it's a great opportunity. We've got some wonderful things going on in Jennerstown over the last several years. We're actually going in our 8th year of operation. And I always say all the time that it's all about timing in motorsports. It's who you know, what you meet, when you meet them. And the timing, the stars have aligned, and we thought it was a great opportunity to showcase what Jennerstown Speedway has to the country and to the world, for that factor. And by being a part of the NASCAR sanction, again, we thought that was the best way to do so.
Well, I have a pretty deep appreciation for what you guys have been up to there, quite honestly, because, hey, it's a mod squad stop. Maybe in some cases the wheel and modified tour, but modifieds have been part and parcel ever since that place was paved. So tell me what is on the weekly racing series schedule for Jennerstown in 2022.
So we're actually going to start off with a 6 division series this year.
Wow.
Loaded card. We've ran 5 divisions, and last year we actually implemented a new division, which is a 602 motor and a late model chassis. So it's kind of like a beginner class for people to transition, and it took off. We had 10, 11 cars the first year. I mean, that's pretty good whenever the inaugural season, and it's grown to probably 16 or 17 opening night this year. So we're going to run a 6 division program as part of the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series. And we started in May. And what's really nice, Jack, we start at 6:30 at our facility. So we like to tailor to those families and small children. Even 6 divisions will be done by 9:30, quarter till 10. They all get to meet the drivers afterwards. And it's a really great program for everyone.
You're in a very unique opportunity because this is kind of your side hustle, being the general manager at the track. You also spend a great deal of time, you were alluding to kids, dealing with the recalcitrant school children as you have an additional career as a teacher. But I'm interested, Bill, having that type of day in and day out interaction with the people that are going to flock to Jennerstown. How does that make you a better general manager?
Well, this is my 15th year in public education, and I absolutely love my teaching job. And at some point, I may have to make the difficult decision which path I want to go. But right now, we're going to burn the candle at both ends. And I tell people all the time that dealing with race car drivers is like just dealing with high school kids. And when I first started out, there wasn't a whole lot of notoriety with the Speedway and people. But now when I wear a shirt to school, it's got Jennerstown on it, or I walk down the hall, people notice it. People recognize it. Hey, I was there. And we do a lot of community activities at the racetrack. So we involve a lot of local school districts. We give families an opportunity to attend the races with programs we do with the school. So there's a lot of things that I've learned through teaching that benefit me at the racetrack. And there's a lot of things I learned dealing with the racetrack, the business side, that benefit me at teaching as well. So they work very closely together and keeps my days full, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
One of the beauties, and we talk about it all the time here on Wind Tunnel, is the fact that the local NASCAR roots, the short track heroes, they put their reputation on the line week in and week out, not in front of thousands of fans that buy a ticket, but instead friends and family. And when you witness that, specifically at Jennerstown, I think it takes a special breed of driver to go out there week in and week out, and a great deal of mutual respect one for the other, to be able to go out and do it amongst your friends the way short track racers do every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night.
So the camaraderie we have at Jennerstown is just, I would put it up against anybody in the country. The friendships you make. We got a really great thing going on here real soon with Advanced Auto Parts, the Advanced My Track Challenge. Our video is going to be up real soon. And there's a story of the all-time winner, Barry Audi. He's got the most victories at the racetrack. He's got 7 championships. And when we were shooting this video, we actually found out that his only a couple weeks old, he was at the track because his grandfather was the welding truck at the track.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So we have several third generation drivers at the racetrack. Racing is its own family. It's a community. It's a family. My wife and I have two children, 7 and 9. We pretty much live at the racetrack. We stayed there in a camper last year, 26 weekends a year, and they are part of the family just with everyone else. You meet drivers like Derek Griffith that come in and support our big shows, Mike Hopkins. I mean, it's just, you become close friends, and it's just such a great family. I mean, I feel like I could rely on my racing family at Jennerstown more than anybody. It's a great thing. And at the end of the night, you share a nice cold beverage. We leave the lights on, and it's like that Days of Thunder feeling. We're sitting on the front stretch wall, leaving the brand new LED lights on, and you're sitting there going, what the heck just happened here? We just had 4,000 people here and saw one of the best races. So it just keeps getting better and better.
Bill, look, there's an awful lot of drivers that show up and they're young guns, as I call them, that embark on what they hope will be the ultimate dream. And the dream would be to make it to NASCAR at the NASCAR Cup level. But there are other drivers that, for various and sundry reasons, just really want to keep doing what they're doing on the local level. What kind of mix have you guys got of that one group and the other group at Jennerstown?
Well, and I think that's defined by the age gap. We've got guys that have grown up, they've started out dirt. Jennerstown paved in '87. We got guys that have raced the first race on asphalt that are still racing today. And, they've exceeded that threshold of ever making it. But, there's been a huge regional championships over the year. You've had Richard Mitchell, you had Charlie Cragen, who was my all-time hero, who's the reason why I'm managing a racetrack today, because the way he taught me when I was a kid. I mean, I'd go hang out with this guy, and here I am later, running the racetrack. And then you have the young guns that are still aspiring to make it. And, they get their roots started at Jennerstown. Our champion from 2 years ago, Albert Francis from Ohio, Painesville, Ohio, he's done a lot more traveling this last year. He couldn't travel because of COVID 2 years ago. He wins a track championship, but he carries that title everywhere he goes. He's raced it in Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Nashville. So it's just nice to see a little part of that. But I think guys are not just looking at Jennerstown anymore as a stepping stone. That is their home. That's where their roots are. And if they go somewhere, that's fine, but they're content just being a big fish in a small pond.
Do you think that there's a better connection these days? I mean, there was a period of time where the weekly short tracks felt disconnected from the premier levels of NASCAR. And quite honestly, because of the fact that, once they left your premises and made it to the big time, regulations and contracts with owners kind of prohibited that. But this new young group of drivers led by our current defending Cup champion, they want to race, and they want to race often. You've got the Kyle Larson saga. You've got so many more drivers that now, when they have an opportunity, they go back to tracks like yours and want to just race for the fun of it. Do you think it's a better connection now, Bill?
100%. 100%. Even over the last 5 or 6 years, I think NASCAR is doing an excellent job with their outreach program. They're trying to reconnect those roots. They're focusing on the local drivers and their fans, and they're listening to them. I had the fortunate opportunity. I made my first ever trip to New Smyrna here a couple of weeks ago, and that's kind of how the NASCAR deal came together. It was just perfect timing. There's William Byron running a late model, and then 2 days later, he's running the Daytona 500. He just, the same weekend, he wins in Atlanta and he wins in Hickory. So it's great. It's inspiring for these younger guys to say, wait a minute, they're not forgotten about us. Josh Berry is probably the greatest story in NASCAR as far as I'm concerned. Real quick story about Josh. When he ran the car super late model tour last year, we actually flew him up to Pittsburgh to make the announcement in Pittsburgh at the Heinz History Center. I'm like, hey, well, he literally flew up, did the announcement. We're going to quick bite to eat and we'll fly back. And I figured he wanted to go to some fancy steakhouse. He was fine with the Olive Garden. And that's the coolest experience, to be sitting next to, a guy that who I feel is the future of junior motorsports, that, he came to Jennerstown, he sat on the pole, ran a great race, had a chance to win the race. Those guys appreciate what they've had to do to get to where they are. And as you mentioned, Kyle Larson running all these dirt races. Yeah. I think a lot of their dirt drivers are happy he's back running full time. Busier, but it's inspiring. And our guys would love to see, William Byron or someone from Don Wilson Motorsports run one of our races, because they want to race against the best in the country.
Listen, this has been a real treat. You are our very first actual track spotlight here on Wind Tunnel as part of the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap segment. And welcome to the family, my friend. And I'm sure we're going to visit often. And I promise you, came tantalizingly close to getting up there 1 year ago. It's been years, all the way back to dirt was the last time I was at Jennerstown. But I will get there this time around. And by the way, good luck in that at my track challenge, because I think that's a wonderful thing that Advanced Auto Parts does and will allow you to do some give back to the community. So go after it. Make yourself a winner the way Berlin Raceway was 1 year ago.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Jack. And, I just challenge anybody, keep your eyes out for Jennerstown Speedway. We're going to be part of the Flow Racing deal. And I definitely think if you have the opportunity to come visit us, you won't be disappointed.